Abhishek ji, am I
Good
audible?
afternoon.
I hope I am audible to all of you.
Yes, sir, audible.
Fine, fine. So Sanjeev sir is also there, na? Sanjeev Raju sir.
Yes, yes.
Hello, sir.
Sanjeev.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, namaskar sir. I am fine.
Namaskar, sir. Good to see you.
So at the outset, yeah, let me welcome all of you at this event. I Explore Part 2. I am Dr. Vijay Singh Rathod, the Director of the International Cell, IIS TAI, at IISDM to University. And this event is being organized for the students of IIS University as well as for the faculty members also, to get some knowledge on the international admissions and what is the procedure, how to go for study overseas, and what things they should take care about, and how to make all these formalities while taking the international admissions. So all these queries will be, I think, solved by Abhishek ji and Sanjeev Raju sir collectively. So without wasting much of time, let me invite Abhishek Sharan sir for taking the event forward. Abhishek ji.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a nice introduction. And I'm managing student relations for IDP, and today's session will be taken by Sanjeeva Raju. Sanjeeva Raju is destination manager for USA and New Zealand for IDP India, and today he will be taking care of 4 destinations: USA, UK, Canada, and Australia. And students can ask questions post the presentation. Sanjeeva, over to you.
Thank you, Vijay, sir, and Abhishek for giving this opportunity and to educate the students on the abroad studies. I know that yes, students at this age they actually get confused at what to do next and how we need to go further, how to take our career forward. That is what we at IDP actually assist the student in how to take it forward and even assist them with the process and educate them accordingly. Quickly jumping onto that, I'll start sharing the presentation and we can quickly show that yes, what IDP does and what is that abroad education mean all about. Uh, is the PPT visible?
Yes, sir.
Visible,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So IDP is it's a global educational consulting. It's not only just have the offices in India, but we have the offices globally and everything. And especially if you talk about how many, we have almost 120 offices in 30 countries. It's pretty huge. It's not some small company at fixed to at one building or something like that, right? And we have the head office based at Melbourne, the headquarters. And further to say again that we are listed on Australian Security Exchange ASE. That's like stock exchange in India and everything. In the similar way, we are listed in the Australian Securities Exchange, right? And further on, yes, what is again, what is IDP again on that? So we are 50% co-owned by the Australian universities. That is one of the bigger part of IDP as a company. So the what if you talk about why students need to even go for abroad studies. So first thing is how IDP assists in student actually going with for the process on going with the study abroad. First important thing is what program is suitable actually fits me and which university, which country. IDP is assisting that. That is the first step. And secondly, if any kind of test required to actually go appear for the student to get an admission into that particular university of a particular country, that is going to be assisted to the student. Next, once the university is shortlisted and the student has done with the test and everything with the submission of the applications, and then even assisting with the offer letter and apply for the visa, student visa. And if I can get any kind of visa interviews there with any kind of country, we'll even assist you with the student with the visa interviews as well. So prepare them well so that they appear for the visa interview and get the visa grant. And the final step is again fly to the destination dream country where they're actually looking at. That is what all IDP does for the student in assisting the students for study abroad. And again, in more detail to say on this part, as quickly on this part, yes, again with the course and the university selection, which is the first stage, and with the application submission, assistance with the application submission, offer acceptance, visa counseling, and the pre-departure. It may not be all the students have traveled to that particular country before. Even we even assist a student on the pre-departure orientation, like yes, do's and don'ts before you travel to any country. So from end-to-end process, IDP will be there to actually assist the students. Just quickly, sorry. I'm sorry. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
so your PPT is not visible.
PPT unvisible. Okay. Just allow me a minute. Sorry. Is the
Sanjeev
PPT
sir, there is
visible
some
now?
disturbance coming from, I think, behind you.
I'm sorry. Is the PPT visible now?
Yes, yes, yes. If it is
Your
visible.
PPT is visible. Can you tell also to be so you can go to conferencing and
All
start?
the other participants are
Just a
requested
moment.
to mute themselves, please.
Just give me 1 minute. Sorry. Sorry for the interruption. Abhishek, just if I'm audible, right? And the PPT is visible, right?
Correct, Sanjeeva.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Uh, so then, yes, why should actually one think of even going with a study abroad? It's five important factors. Actually, we say that why study abroad is important to any student is one is the quality education. It's not that India does not have the quality education, but if you talk about the even the practical approach and everything, even the foreign universities, especially the English speaking countries, have good kind of quality education with the practical exposure, and it also enhance the value of degree, which is globally recognized, even to make you eligible for more job opportunities worldwide and employment ready. As I said, even as there are even good with in terms of practical exposure, so they make you employment ready as well. And research option, a student even take up further any studies in terms of PhD or such, even that helps any students in going with study abroad. In terms of academic flexibility, it's not that in India we have a fixed curriculum and everything, but if you go with any other universities across the world and everything, you'll find the academic flexibility that, let's suppose if you're choosing something like that computer science and you want to choose a specialization data science and you have another modules to take it, there are some particular core modules as well as some optionals as well. That is the kind of flexibility they have it. That is what one should actually go with in terms of going with study abroad. So just stop me if I'm going fast, and you can put your questions and have your questions ready with you, and we can take it up after the presentation. Yes, as Abhishek said, yes, to be very precise, IDP deals with 6 countries, that is US, Canada, UK, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. So I'll take you through 4 important destinations, right? You may actually look into it. And even if you have any queries on any of the 4 destinations, we are happy to assist you. Just quickly jumping on why what should actually study in UK. What are the main key reasons or the important points to actually choose UK as a whole. If you look into it, UK, if universities are have a very strongly ranked across the world. If you talk about any university, the top 100 university, you'll find majority of the UK universities. That is one of the first point. And all the qualifications of UK are highly recognized wherever you go. In terms of the research and everything you say, in terms of even vaccines, recent vaccines we got it for COVID and everything even have come from UK, right? And other important thing is they have a huge scholarship options and the financial support for international students. That is one of the major point again to actually why choose to study in UK, right? So another important thing for studying in UK is that multicultural experience. It's not that only Indian students are there in UK and we should go there, but you will be able to meet many nationalities within your university in your class. It is not limited to only Indian students. That is one of the best. It is only like Indian mentality we only we see in our own universities here, but when you go to that UK, when you are even able to meet other nationalities and everything, even our thinking process changes. That is the kind of exposure you get it. Even there are various financial support, as again said, and the scholarship for the international students. That is one of the best point. And the UK universities are classified as 30% of the research as world leading and 46% as international excellent. This is as per the recent survey. So another important is that, yes, again, as I said, history of extraordinary academic innovation, and UK stands as third in the world of innovation. I'm sure that most of us even don't know this, but this is one of the unique feature of why students should choose UK as one of the study dream destinations to study. And over 140 universities and large number of colleges the UK has. It's and with wide range of course option. It's not limited to a particular course. That yes, what are the course you say that you'll find in UK? So that is the best in the curriculum with wide range of courses. Yeah, as again, what I'm talking about the courses is engineering, science, art, design, business, management, law, finance. You name the course, you'll find in the UK universities. That is the best part. Right, and UK has many Nobel Prize winners as well, and it is again growing and bagging up with many Nobel Prizes with a lot of research activities going on with the UK universities as they are mainly advanced in their research. In any topic, in any field of research, they are already topping with the Nobel Prizes. And UK have a great lifestyle, nothing extra, and it's again safe and multicultural, as I already said, and the literacy rate in UK is 99%. Imagine what is the kind of literacy rate is, right? So the developed education system and the long history education tradition have attract many students from abroad, and India is one of the major country from the students actually travel to UK for the studies for their good quality education and diversified options, multicultural and good opportunities as well. And stringent quality academic standard, history of education excellent with many of the oldest universities in the world with top ranked. And intensive shorter tertiary education, generally the masters in UK is for 1 year. So in India, generally the masters is for 2 years, but you can finish your masters generally in UK for 1 year. And that is again a shorter tertiary education. That is the best in terms of students picking up UK education. You study in UK as well. Again, with diverse range of courses, forefront of scientific excellence. One of the example is recent is vaccine. We got it from them. Skills for global economy, international student support. It's not that you study in UK, so what is that if I go to a country which does not support? Don't worry on that. All the universities are equipped to actually support the international students and home of English language. We talk about American English and the British English, right? So again, the sandwich course is generally for the bachelors, guaranteed accommodation, and you have the option of even living on campus or off campus. What are the accommodation you can actually offer that, and they have plenty of options across. And we, the counselors as IDP, are able to assist you in all the possible ways. Okay, so what after studies and everything? So if I study and everything, do you have any kind of stay back options in UK? Yes, they have a stay back options in UK, and students after doing their course, they'll be able to stay for 12 to 24 months. And if you're talking about general Type 2 visa in general, they offer with a skilled employee whether which holds a Type 2 sponsorship license. And there's also other for one who's looking for the PhD and everything, right? And they can also stay back with 12 months of additional stay back for that. The new route will now allow students to apply for a visa to remain in UK for 2 years of studies, so they can look for work or start work at any skill level. Right, this is one of the very recent initiative which UK government has taken to actually assist the international students, and it is welcoming to all the students internationally. And with the ties with India and UK is increasing, and we can see much more changes coming out benefiting the international students and especially the Indian students, right? So to make it further quick, study in USA. Whenever I see any kind of student coming looking for study abroad, I always see that yes, I want to start study in Harvard, MIT, and all this. Why US? Because it's a home for many MNC companies and the Fortune 500 companies. Right, because of its brilliant scope of research, academic flexibility, financial support, and many job opportunities, wide range of courses, hands-on training, and cultural enhancement. You'll find everything in US. It's not that just you go there and just come over there, but you'll find a lot of lot of wide range of courses and everything, and you'll be able to give your best for your studies in US. Okay. In general, what are the sessions you have in US is two major intakes. One is the fall, which is the major intake in US, which starting in August, September, and winter, which is winter or the spring session, which is a January and Feb, which 80% of the courses in the university is open. Since the fall intake is the major, and students, we see all the students looking for fall intake. And winter also have a lot many good options for the computer science, business, engineering, and many other courses. So why one should actually choose US as a whole? The skip on this part, yes. One is important equal opportunities for the scholarship and financial aid. Students plan to even get faster turnaround time, application fee waivers generally offered with US universities when you apply through IDP, right? Once any student looking for study in USA should start the process at least a year before because of their academic requirements or the NBS standard test of GRE, GMAT, SAT, or even IELTS TOEFL. Right, and you can also know that Sundar Pichai is again the CEO of Google. He's from India. So you can see that many personalities from India actually or at the top management positions in the US companies. And I'm not sure who's the president of US. Anyone can answer?
So Joe Biden.
Great, somebody knows it. So you actually have a quick. I think you read a lot of news of US. Good. Okay. So quickly jumping on, yes, scholarship options in US. They're merit-based, need-based scholarships. University are course specific, and they are even external scholarship as well. And it completely depends upon the profile altogether. And we at IDP assist the students in actually with which scholarship the student will be eligible for, so that they can grab the scholarships, which can actually reduce the tuition fees as a whole. And there are other assistantships as well, like teaching assistantship, graduate assistantship, and research assistantship. And CPT is generally called as internship in other language, with many of the engineering courses, STEM courses we call it as. And even US universities generally provides loans, but again case by case, it again depends, right? And during this course and everything, you can even work part-time jobs, 20 hours per week and everything, and during vacation you can work 40 hours per week, that is full time. And it is there with almost all the countries. It's not specific to US, but you can work with during your course you can work 20 hours per week, and during the holidays you can work 40 hours per week, which can actually make your living expenses earn your living expenses a bit, right? Okay, so how many of actually want to study in Canada? Okay, not decided yet. No worries. I'll anyway give a glimpse on why Canada as a whole, right? And Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories. The Quebec province and is one of them. And even look into it, Toronto is Canada's biggest business financial center. And what is the financial center for India? Jaipur?
Mumbai.
Oh, great. I thought you'll say Jaipur. Okay. So why one should actually choose Canada? So Canada flag is comprised of main two colors, that is two red stripe encompasses a white stripe, and in the middle of the white stripe is a red maple leaf signifying Canada's love for nature. If anyone do not know about this, then you can learn from here, and it can be one of the general knowledge question for you wherever you go. When if you land up in Canada and somebody asks that, what do you know about Canada flag? Yes, somebody at IDP has told me this. Right. And the beaver is given official status as the emblem of Canada. And the Canada climate is not as cold as everybody thinks about, but during this winters and everything, it sometimes go to the freezing temperature. When we are in the northern of India, then it should be fine. We should be able to adjust to the climate. It's not that great difficult to adjust in Canada. So what do you know about Canada as? Again, it's again the common borders with US, second largest country by the land area after Russia. Very good facts. Canada has more lakes than all the lakes combined in the world. What is the famous lake in Canada? Okay, we'll park this question after the PPT and ask this question once again. It is the most educating country in the world with more than half of its population having colleges and degree. And Canada is one of the country which is more popular for immigration. Whenever I talk to anyone, even my not professionally, personally also, when I spoke to anyone, they say that yes, I want to go to Canada. It's easy for PR, right? So it's they have a very flexible in terms of the immigration and everything. So that is the students, and many of them actually offer taking the student route, which is even flexible for them to get easy into the immigration. The license plate in the northwestern territory of Canada are shaped like polar bears. Another fact. Okay. When talking about the academic part about Canada, they have a very good academic excellence with many of the universities in the top rankings by QS and even Times Higher Education and many more. And the fees was very affordable and everything. If you talk with the colleges or the universities in uh, Canada, they have a very affordable fees and it's nothing too expensive as well. All right, ranked as one of the safest nation in the world by UN, United Nations Human Development Index, and earn while you learn. Part-time jobs, as I said, with even with Canada, you can work 20 hours per week. Culture diversity is always there. It's not like that only India, Canada is always with Indian students with mostly Punjab and everything. It's not really like that. But yes, they have a lot of culture diversity. Students across from the world actually come there to study. Right? We will find many kind of nationalities over there. Immigration opportunity, post-study work visa up to 3 years is after your study of completion of 2 years, you get 3 years of post-study work visa. This is one of the best point with Canada that yes, you get an opportunities to even work after your studies. Quickly jumping on to the education system in Canada, we are talking about postgraduate diploma or diplomas generally for 1 to 2 years, masters for 2 years, and PhD again varies on the program we actually go with that. In Canada, it's generally four type of institutions. One is the career colleges, community colleges, universities, and the university colleges. And the community colleges, most of the students generally talk about community colleges, which offers the certificates, PG diplomas, and the UG degrees. And these are employment focused. They have the employment focused curriculum. And the universities with them, they have even the masters at their portfolio and highly funded by the provincial government, the province which I'm talking about, with wide range of courses, right? And generally for the masters, you would be requiring the education of 12 plus 4, the education system in Canada. But there are few universities still accept with 3 years of bachelor's degree as well. When you even talk to the counselor based on your profile, we'll be able to assess you on that, yes, what kind of course you actually need to go with that. Again, scholarships, it's one of the major part when actually thinking about study abroad. There's huge amount invested, right? So scholarship majorly depends upon the good grades, English language, and your academic, lot of recommendations, and even any kind of internships whatever you need, you have it done. It all actually helps you in getting the scholarships, right? There are many scholarships across even Canada as well, depending on the college or the university you're going with that. And we at IDP assist the students with the right scholarship to actually grab it. And it's only depends upon how fast we apply it. It always depends that yes, the time you apply and what is the course, what are your grades and everything. And quickly jump into as a last with why should actually one should choose with Canada as a whole. Easy visa requirements, safest destination, part-time job opportunities, and the stay back option. It's one of the best part in Canada as a whole. And then what is what actually one should actually choose for Canada as it is one of the PR oriented country. Okay, quickly jumping on one of my favorite destination and IDPs, as most of the IDP owned by 50% of the Australian universities, and we have the headquarters in Australia. Australia is a home to 42 universities with at least one university main campus based in each state or territory. It's not just limited to one city or the one territory. It's not that one of the Australian universities having a campus in Melbourne may have the campus in even Brisbane, Sydney, or everything, anywhere. Okay, they have multiple campuses. That is what I'm trying to say here. So they offer the courses from diploma to the doctoral degrees, and it's all depends upon which course you're looking at. And all courses are professionally accredited like CPA, CFA, and all this kind of professional accredited courses you find in Australia. And the state of art facilities, strong connection with the industry and the future jobs. And you can find that Australia has almost 15 universities in the top 100 and the top 50 as well. If you talk about in the terms of higher education rankings 2019, right? And like University of Melbourne, University of Sydney, these few of them. But again, it depends on which course you're looking at, which university. We are here to assist you. Okay, quickly jumping on why should one choose going to Australia? You can imagine what Australian government has invested 300 million in scholarship international students, like merit-based scholarships or any research-based scholarships and international scholarships. Right, we see many students grabbing the scholarships from Australian universities with their academic excellence. And seven of the top world cities, seven of the top world 100 universities and universities rank in the world 50 in the huge, as I can say. Great employment opportunities and even standard of living is pretty high. Third most popular international study destination. Whenever somebody says that, yes, I want to study abroad, Australia is one among them, even which comes into the mind because of huge opportunities. Right, and currently home to nearly 7 million international students. It's one of the again big thing to actually know about why study in Australia, and they have the intake in February as well as July. So if you're even targeting for the February, you can start applying from now, and the counselors as IDP can assist you. They only require the English language test apart from the academics to actually grab into to get an admission into the university in Australia apart from the academics. So not quickly jump to again to the New Zealand. It's one of my favorite destination too, since I'm handling this destination. Australia, New Zealand again, it's a very small country, but land with little population, and they have only quite less number of universities. But all the universities in New Zealand are the top 3% of the world rankings, and ample number of scholarships. And New Zealand is one of the second safest country in the world. Nothing to say about it. And same similar with other countries, New Zealand has even flexible in terms of their course curriculum, and even they cost their masters is also for 1 year, similarly like UK, because they were a British colony before. And in terms of part-time job, you can work 20 hours per week. Post-study work visa, once you study in, if you offer study in New Zealand, you can even stay back up to 3 years. And as I said, second safest country in the world, they have the international recognized degrees across the world. And PhD, it's almost tuition fees is same as the domestic students. And Ireland. So, what is Ireland famous for? Any idea? Okay, not to make you more in suspense. Okay. Again, it's a land of thinkers and the dreamers. Ennis Paulson, John Bell, Oscar, and all this. They are very famous, and they're from Ireland. So that is a land of thinkers. That is what he got a name. And again, headquarters for some of the very biggest companies in the world. After US, you'll find many of the companies have headquarters in Ireland, that is in Dublin, right? And the historical hub for innovative thinking and creativity. And wherever you go in the country, you find that kind of peace and everything, and the kind of urban lifestyle you find in Ireland is pretty much exciting for any international. In terms of education, they're again having a very good, excellent education in terms of wide range of programs, and university in the college that from the top 1% of the research institutions of the world, right? Even the top in the research as well, and extensive selection of the course and abundant work opportunities. So I quickly covered on all the 6 destinations what IDP can offer you and can be one of the dream destination for you. Just give a comparison on the kind of what is the tuition fees. For Australia, it would be the tuition fee would be around 10 to 18 lakhs, and the annual living expenses would be 10 to 11 lakhs. And the post-study work visa again varies from which city you're going with that, and you can grab up to 4 years of post-study work visa. You can work 20 hours or 40 hours fortnightly, 20 hours per week, and 40 hours fortnightly, whatever you say. And Canada, the tuition fee would be between 7 to 12 lakhs, and the living expense would be 5 to 6 lakhs around, with the post-study work visa of 3 years. UK, and the tuition fee would be between 10 to 20 lakhs. And with the average living expenses would be 9 to 11 lakhs, based on which outside London or within London. And post-study visa is up to 2 years. For USA, the tuition fee would ranges between 10 to 23 lakhs with the living expense of 5 to 10 lakhs with post-study work visa of 3 years for engineering, science, technology, or mathematics courses. But for business courses, it's for 1 year. But if it is with the STEM, then you can make it 3 years. For New Zealand, again, the tuition fee would remain between 9 to 15 lakhs with the living expenses ranging between 7 to 8 lakhs. With 3 years of post-study work visa, Ireland 9 to 15 lakhs. The annual living expenses between 7 to 8 lakhs with 2 years of post-study work visa. Okay, quick thing is when should I actually start preparing or thinking of making my file to abroad universities? The time for preparation is generally takes 8 to 10 months. So start now thinking about even making your mind for going abroad so that you can start your shortlisting and take required admission test, preparation of the application file, and after the application is filed, the university might take somewhere around 8 to 12 weeks. And after that, it again the visa formalities, again the visa sometimes even goes up to 3 months. So that is why we always recommend you to actually take the step well in advance, at least within 8 to 10 months to make yourself go well in time and without any gap in your academic career. Okay, so what are the mandatory requirements apart from the academics? What are the tests which is required for any other country? IELTS, English language test generally, IELTS, TOEFL, generally mandatory test for any country. Either you take any of it. Generally, for Australia, it's Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, it's majorly IELTS. For US, UK, you can even go with the TOEFL as well apart from IELTS. And generally, GMAT is majorly required for Canada, US, and UK, and even Australia for MBA courses. If one is with experience and everything, for GRE, for US, it's required, not for any other country. SAT is again a solid state aptitude test, which is required for UG in US. Okay, and one of the major important thing about IELTS, right? In India, as of now, the operations of IELTS are solely taken by IDP, and we are the world leading in terms of even conducting this. In within India, the operations for IELTS are completely with IDP, right? And International Education Language Test and which the complete full form of IELTS, if somebody does not know it, and it opens the door for many major countries. IELTS is widely accepted anywhere. So, what is IELTS? Generally, 4 modules: speaking, listening, writing, and reading. So, these are the 4 modules we actually get examined, and the test score will be given. And the requirements for generally for the masters, it would be 6.5, no band less than 6. And with the UG for bachelors, it would be 6, no band less than 5.5. It again varies from country to country. So that's all from myself, and then quickly make up your mind to actually study in any of these countries, and IDP is with you.
Thank you, Sanjeeva, for such an enlightening presentation.
Thank
I
you,
think we
Abhishek.
can take up questions from the chat box. Um, okay. The first question is from Kanwal. I'll read it out for you, Sanjeeva, and you can
Yes,
answer
yes,
the
yes. Yeah.
queries. Kanwal Shergill wants to know what are the short courses for psychology in US and Canada that is especially relevant for a PhD students since PhD takes 3 to 5 years. Is it allowed to take a leave in the middle of PhD program?
See, short courses for getting an admission under PhD, you would be requiring a master's degree, and you cannot skip actually without going completing a master's. You cannot go into the PhD. And generally, few of the maybe in Australia or UK, they have the courses like masters by research. You can even opt for that, which are for 1 year. But it depends on how was the curriculum in your bachelor's, and based on that, you can offer the PhD as a shorter program, with a master's as a shorter program of 1 year and take up your PhD. And generally, as I said, rightly said, PhD take 3 to 5 years. And if you want to take a break in middle of your PhD, it completely depends upon the professor and between you and the professor how you want to make it, right?
Thank you, Sanjeeva. I hope that answers your query, Kamal.
So I'm already in PhD program. I shall be submitting my research proposal soon.
Great, great, great.
Then it was like my parents just suggested कि बेटा just consider Canada कोई short term course हो अगर. I said that it would be tricky, especially since I've started my PhD already. Uh, each and yeah, like you said, कि it's going to be between me and my supervisor whether I will be allowed to take a leave in the middle of my PhD program. So for psychology at least, so you recommend Australia.
It completely, if you're talking about a research program for if a short-term master's program in research, generally for 1 year program, you can look for UK, that is a 1 year master's in research. In US and Canada, the master's generally for 2 years.
I'm not really looking for a
For
research related course in
yeah, if you're
psychology,
looking again
something
for
else.
since you already done your master's and already in your mid of your PhD,
Yes,
it
sir.
again why you wish to again go back with the again with a normal diploma course or something, it makes your profile very big, right? And in terms of opportunities, you need to really think on how to take up your career accordingly.
Oh, okay, so you mean to say scattered लगता है if someone
Exactly.
sees my
Yeah,
resume.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, sir.
Thanks, Kanwal.
Thank you,
Next
sir.
question is from Janvi. She says, Sir, if someone want to pursue masters from Australia with 100% scholarship, then what is the procedure of it? Can you please elaborate?
Janvi, very good question. Yes, when you're thinking of abroad studies, then yes, scholarship is one of the important thing we need to actually how to think about managing the finances. When you're talking about 100% scholarship, it completely depends. It's not that how students get 100% scholarship, but yeah, when you're going with the abroad education, you have to have some kind of finances in hand. It may be possible with 100% scholarship, maybe 30% of the scholarship or 25% of the scholarship, and sometimes 50% of the scholarship. Completely depends upon your academics and other criteria set by the scholarship committee. And we have seen that students even got even 70% scholarship, 80%. It completely depends on the profile you have it. And when the university assesses the profile, then you'll be able to get to know yet yes, if yes or no. It all depends upon essays and many other factors.
So, Janvi, I would suggest you can get in touch with us, and after profile analysis, we would be able to help you further.
Yeah.
Lalit, if you can share your email ID, that would be great. Students can reach out to you.
Sure.
Next question is from Nikita, and she wants to know about opportunities in Canada post BSc and B.Ed programs.
Oh, it is very contradictory if you're talking about BSc or B.Ed. So what should I actually answer for? Okay, we click on in that BSc, it's again a science, and a B.Ed you're talking about education as linked to the teaching or any kind of education programs. And opportunities are very plenty. And for teaching, if you're talking Canada, if you're talking after B.Ed and everything, there are a lot many opportunities in even teaching and the non-teaching, right? It is not that very it's only for engineering or even some kind of science courses, but for after teaching, the many opportunities you can grab in Canada. Canada is the land of opportunities. Not to worry on that. What kind of opportunities you can go with teaching or non-teaching? Like even in the within the universities also, you can apply for the course advisors post or even administrative post. Or if you even like into teaching, you can go for take a teaching license and go with the teaching in Canada as well.
Thanks, Sanjeeva. Next question is from Arshdeep Kaur, and he mentions that he is pursuing BCom. What can he do in masters after graduation, and from which destination?
Okay. So, Azip, since you are doing your pursuing your BCom and everything, so it completely depends upon either you want to take up a general business program or something like that, very specialized course, either in accounting, finance, marketing, or any other specializations you may like it. You have a wide range of opportunities or the specializations you can offer that. You have to look into it which kind of specializations we are more interested in that, because based on your interest, we are able to suggest you the right course. And the country, yes, we every country has the courses related to masters after your BCom. whichever the course you say and whichever what would be the finances and the opportunities, accordingly we can suggest that. So you can always get back to us once for the detailed counseling. We can assist you more in even shortlisting the country accordingly as per your eligibility. Lalit, you can even share the details with Ashdeep and we can connect with him.
So students, Lalit has shared his details in the chat box. You can reach out to him if you have further queries. The next question is from Rifat Faraz, and
Okay,
he
I'll
wants
read
to
out
know. He wants
UK
to know.
universities. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So do the UK universities take the admission for MBA without a job experience? Yes, why not? They have the freshers MBAs as well. So even students without experience can even offer MBA in UK. And many universities offering this. It's completely yes. You can proceed further in filing your applications and IDPs with UNAFISAT.
Next question is from Simran, and she is confused between US and UK for mass communication and journalism courses.
Oh, okay. US and UK again. Journalism and communication is one of the niche courses with what kind of opportunities are you actually looking at? Both the countries have very good, excellent curriculum within the masters for even both journalism and mass communication. And if you're looking about the opportunities or the stay back and everything, UK gives you a stay back for up to 2 years after your course, and US will give generally for 1 year after your course. And in terms of requirement and the tuition fees, both the countries have good number of opportunities after your course. So, which year are you planning with that, and are you ready to take some kind of certain examinations accordingly? We can suggest you the country accordingly with that, with the kind of opportunity, with the kind of universities, with your profile. Simon, again, it depends that yes, depending on the profile, we can suggest you the right country and according to your budget and according to your profile completely.
Thanks, Sanjeeva. Next question is from Shibani Gupta, and she wants to know about masters in public health. What to choose between US and Canada?
Okay. If I ask you that you're thinking about public health, then you must be from generally the clinical. You have already done must have done from the clinical courses, maybe MBBS or dentist or somewhere, because generally students from the clinical background for offer the public health. And US and Canada, it's the course curriculum would almost remain the same. Though if you're talking about the masters is generally for 2 years in both the countries, and the intake would be remain the same. Kind of opportunities again, US have almost 5,000 plus universities, right? And you may have the opportunity even to grab an opportunity in US in one of the universities over there. But Canada, the requirements for the masters are pretty high if you're looking for the master's program. So if you have somewhere around 80% or something like that, or more than even 75% in your bachelor's, then definitely Canada would be a right option. But otherwise, US would be a right option with a huge number of universities to get admission to it.
Thanks, Sanjeeva. Next question is from Elena Sharma, and she says that how to go about masters in US and Canada after completing BSc psychology, and how to complete 16 years of education after bachelor's for eligibility, and uh, also she wants to know whether GRE is important for psychology.
Okay, so generally, as even said before as well, US and Canada would require 16 years of education to get into the master's program, right? And in US, there are few universities that will accept the 15 years education based on which university you studied and everything, and sometimes then require a WES evaluation as well. That depends upon yes, they'll be able to evaluate a profile, and after that, if they say that it is equivalent to the US or Canada degree, then yes, you can even apply for the masters in US and Canada, no problem with that. But it varies from college to university, whether they accept or not. And coming to the GRE as a whole, yes, GRE is one of the mandatory tests you need to actually go with that in US. Canadian universities, 80% of the universities would definitely ask for GRE. but it is a recommendable option to actually go with GRE to open up your options, not to just limit your options to very few universities.
Thanks, Sanjeeva. With this, we move to the last question, and it is from Niyati Kaushik. And she says that people don't know much about humanities, what to do in humanities, and is it worth to do a MA there? It is so costly and just for the worth of wasting so much and doing MA.
So we're talking about many things in humanities, but yes, as you rightly said, many of them actually don't know about humanities as a whole. There's a lot to do humanities. Even the country is actually going and with lot of many international meetings, which are all bilateral meetings and everything. It's just because of humanities. One of the example is the international relations, right? And a huge scope. It's nothing. And coming to the cost and everything, it's almost normal with any kind of master's degree. And post that, opportunities are widely open. One need to see that how to grab the opportunities, what kind of opportunity you are looking at. Opportunities money, one need to actually understand, yes, I could be landing on this, I need to work on this. If you have a goal set, then definitely yes.
Thank you so much, Sanjeeva. With this, our Q&A also is over.
Yeah, I think
We have a
One
last
last question again, Arshdeep Kaur. And she wants to know, can I go for law after BCom in Canada?
if you frankly ask me, Hasdeep, it is generally difficult actually to take up law course after BCom. But in the masters, if you have any kind of some modules or the electives of law, you can always offer that. Generally, few of the masters programs generally may have some kind of law modules as well, which you can take up instead of taking as the law as a whole,
And I
which
would
can
like
help
to
you in
add on
building up.
Sanjeeva. So Indian student can do paralegal course in Canada only. So no LLB and LLM. Indian students can do only paralegal course in Canada.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
LLM and LLBs.
Yeah.
Indian students can't do.
Exactly, Lalit.
So thank you so much, Sanjeeva. Sir, over to you.
Yeah. So let me take the privilege to thank Sanjeeva sir for such a nice, very beautifully you delivered the things to the students, and what all the destinations US, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand are there for the higher studies overseas. Then you also told about all the fee structures and living costs. How can we bear the living cost there? I think that living cost can be bear by that part-time working visa with 20 hours a week
Yes,
or
for the
some.
visa it would require.
But the main thing is that 8 to 15 lakhs fees is there, so that we need to arrange, and that also you can get the scholarships up to 50% to 70% with your good profile of the academics. And like just if you create your profile properly, so that profile also helps you to get the good scholarships there in the international universities. So thank you so much, Sanjeev sir, for delivering such a nice information, and we are really thankful to you, and we wish that you could come personally in our university, and then you could deliver the things to the students. It will be more interactive, but because of this pandemic and COVID-19, we are not able to see face to face. But even it's a very good opportunity using these online platforms. We can interact, and we can at least get the knowledge about the things. So thank you so much, sir, and thanks to Abhishek sir also for initiating this particular workshop. He himself called me, and then we decided to conduct this event. So thank you so much, Abhishek sir, Lalit sir, for your kind concern in between you gave very nicely the answers to the queries of the students, and we hope we'll meet soon. And the students, you can also come to the international cell for your queries. We are there to help you. Like whosoever wants to get admissions abroad and want to go outside, they can come to international cell anytime in the working hours. We'll definitely love to help you. And Abhishek sir, like you have given your email address, Lalit sir, so the students can talk to you via the email also. So with that, let us thanks to all, and thank you to the students who has come here and join in the event, and they've raised their queries, because whoso raised the queries, it was the common queries for the other students also. So thank you so much for all of you to joining here, and see you all very soon, and take care, stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.